What's up, all my Gormaganders? Welcome to the Federation Conversation, episode 6. I'm David. Hey, Scotty, how you doing?
I'm doing very nicely, David. Plump little Gormagander.
We're covering episode 7 of Discovery today, and the title is Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad.
Straight from the Forrest Whitaker.
Straight from Rogue One, yeah. It was one of my favourite scenes in Rogue One, where he was talking about the Gorgamander. I think it was actually called in that too. Wasn't that what that big monster was called? The Gormagander?
Do you want the real name?
What is that monster called?
It's called Bogullet.
Oh, yeah, Bogullet. Whatever, that movie was dumb.
It's just a very bad movie.
Yeah, okay, it wasn't very bad, but it was a little bit bad.
Yeah.
It pushed
a little far.
Yeah, it pushed a little far in the wrong direction. Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad, episode 7. Scotty, you just watched it. I guess we'll start with you because you got the freshest take on it. So, how'd you like the episode?
I watched it, then I dialed up on Skype. I've got a slight issue, David.
Yeah, what's your issue?
Said it was Year of Hell. It's not. It's
okay, yeah. I got invited to a nerd group on Facebook where they talk about Marvel and shit like that, because that's what nerds like nowadays. And one of the comments from yesterday, right after this person watched the episode, was, "Well, it looks like they just rehashed Year of Hell from Voyager." It's nothing. Those two episodes are completely different. Year of Hell is nothing like this episode. I don't know where he got that from.
I'm testing my Star Trek memory here. Is Year of Hell when Kurtwood Smith is trying out all the different realities?
Yes, it's when he's selectively blowing up things with his time torpedoes to change. I mean, that's what it is. And he's also hosting Chakotay and Tom Paris on his ship and stuff like that.
David, when you fluff the synopsis of an episode like that, you have to read it in the voice of the character. I'm Kurtwood Smith, and I'm changing the timeline.
Oh no! I thought you meant the trail. I thought you meant the trailer guy.
No, I meant the character.
Kurtwood Smith is blowing up things next time on Star Trek. No, yeah. So anyway, this episode's nothing like Year of Hell. It's more like Cause and Effect from TNG, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know why he thought that. But
I'm confused as hell by that.
And he's not my friend. I don't know who he is.
Oh, he's not your friend?
Well, he's not my friend. I don't know who that is.
Okay, good, because I called him a retard in the notes that I wrote here. So.
Oh, good. Really stick it to him when he hears this.
No, I mean, as a Villain of the Week episode, I didn't mind it. It kind of worked, I guess. How do you feel, though?
Let me just say, Scotty.
Okay.
That I love the concept of this episode. Yeah, I'm a big fan of time loop time loop episodes like Cause and Effect, or time loop movies like Groundhog Day, obviously. More recently, Source Code was pretty good, and Edge of Tomorrow was also pretty good. These are the two
and
they did relatively well in the box office, but I really enjoyed this movie. No. Sorry. I knew you were going to say Looper. Looper's not...
Captain Looper.
Looper's not a time loop movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love the concept. I love... there are a lot of great character moments. I love the way they're building up all the characters. I mean, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I like it every week, I said the same thing last week as well. They're building all the characters. It's very nice. Okay. And most of this episode was actually really good.
Most of it. Okay, so what's your biggest gripe?
Alright. And I do really like this episode. And it's a very good... They're moving to, episodic Star Trek. Like I said that last week as well, but, it feels very much like an episodic Star Trek episode.
But you have problems.
The penultimate 5 minutes, so not the last 5 minutes, but the 5 minutes before that, everything about the story just went up and nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you get that feeling? Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I mean.
My last sentence of notes is, what a weird fucking finish. And Stella is kind of bangable. So, I mean,
I'm not even...
almost like a completely different...
Yeah.
A different scriptwriter came in and wrote the ending.
I wasn't actually that fussed about the Stella bit itself. Like that scene in the transporter room, that's fun. It felt very Star Trek-y and like TOS-y to me, which was... Yeah, it was pretty cute, I guess.
But they had to update the TOS because in the 60s it was, haha, he's trying to get away from his nagging wife, and they couldn't possibly do that now, so they kind of flipped it on its head and made her like a sweet, lovable kind of... She'll put up with anything.
Yeah.
Girl. And he's like, okay, honey, I guess I'll come home now.
So, let me tell you what really annoyed me. And again, I love this episode. I think it's one of my favorite episodes of the show so far.
Okay, no, I'd agree with that. But I want to hear what made you mad.
What makes me mad? Stamets suddenly deciding that he's going to reveal the way the warp drive works. Why the fuck would...
Wait, so is that what he actually does, or does he, like, fudge it?
No, he shows Mudd... He shows Rainn Wilson the thing on his arm. It says, look, this is how it works. You now know how the spore drive works. It uses me. So he completely balls it.
Oh, okay.
He completely fucks up everything up by giving Mudd exactly what he wants. Which...
that's like the...
He almost fucked up the entire episode.
Well, that's like
and the entire war!
That's the second last time loop, right? That's before Michael Burnham eats the gobstoppers and blows himself up.
Yeah, that's the same time loop as that. And before... Yeah.
Okay.
Right after Ash Tyler dies...
Yeah.
That really annoyed me, because I feel like there's no reason he would suddenly decide, oh, I'm so sick of watching all my friends die. Here, I'm gonna fuck everything up.
I don't know, I kind of thought he was playing him with that. But, I mean, as far as him giving Mudd the secret of the spore drive, I mean, he obviously shows him the doodad on his arm and says, I'm the thing that makes it work. But does he really give away how it works, or is that...
That's how it works, because he's looking at the machine in the engineering, and he's like, I don't know how this works. Okay. And he just tells him. I don't know why.
I guess.
If that's somehow, like, a double... cross, like, double play thing, I have no idea how they justify that. Like,
yeah,
he almost fucked up the entire thing.
It might not be a double cross then. It might just be Stamets has a lower threshold for pain than Bo Burnham. He gives up first, and then Bo Burnham saves the day.
Yeah, but that's really dumb. I really think that's really dumb. Anyway, that's one of the things that annoyed me. Okay.
Any other key gripes, or do you just want to...
The second thing that annoyed me, which doesn't annoy me as much, because it's a little... It's just my opinion, it's not like a actual plot thing. But it seems unlikely that through all those loops, and with Michael Burnham being such a prominent member of the crew, and like, of all the stuff that happens, he doesn't find out who she is, like, before that. Because he's obviously looked at the whole crew manifest. And he's also...
hang on a minute. How does he not know who she... I mean, he's seen the name. He reacts to the name. Oh, you're Michael Burnham.
He knows who Michael Burnham is in terms of she's the mutineer. But he doesn't know the face. But he looks through the entire crew manifest.
You're just a stupid... you're not even on the crew kind of thing, that's what he says.
And he sees her, like, every time loop, because she's always there. She's on the bridge, and she's very important to the crew, apparently. And he just didn't figure it out beforehand, or didn't bother to look. That annoyed me, not as much as the other thing, obviously, but that annoyed me, because it doesn't feel like it makes sense.
No, it's a plot hole. I think Mudd dropped the ball, and by extension, the scriptwriters really dropped the ball.
I have 2 more points. No, sorry, I have 3 more points that annoy me.
Okay. Let's hear them.
In the last time loop, when it hits 30 minutes, Mudd goes, we're about to exit the time loop, and then the thing evaporates from his arm, right? The crystal? So he can no longer time loop, right?
Yeah.
When did they ever explain that beforehand? Or did they...
That it was just gonna...
That when it hits 30 minutes, he has a choice of whether to blow the ship up or just exit the time loop? Like, I don't think they ever said that beforehand.
Not explicitly. I think it was kind of implied.
Was it implied? Was it implied that there was a 30-minute time limit on this thing?
30-minute time limit. Stamets a couple of times sort of said, "Oh, we're out of time," and then the ship would blow up. But the only indication you get that Mudd has a choice in when to end it is when Burnham eats the gobstopper, and then he's like,
yeah,
he makes the ship blow up before the time limit. So that's really the only exact time it's spelled out, I think.
That's my fourth point.
Okay.
The fourth thing I don't like is that second last time loop, I'm pretty sure that would have gone over 30 minutes. Because they have the whole thing on the bridge.
Yeah.
They're doing a whole bunch of stuff. That probably took 10 minutes or something. Then they have a scene where Michael Burnham and Tilly are looking at the Gormagander and trying to figure out how he did it.
And she's still in a party outfit. Ooh.
And they're scanning the Gormagander. They're trying to figure it out. And then... And then she goes and talks to Mudd in his ready room. And, the Klingons are coming and everything. And I feel like that went way longer than 30 minutes. Just in, story time.
No, I absolutely agree. I think the only way these time loop episodes can really work is if they are the old Kiefer Sutherland show, 24, if they record it to a real clock.
I don't think they need to record it to a real clock, but...
I think they do. The party scene kept on, changing length. I mean, the call from the bridge is going to come through no matter what. But suddenly she has time to slow dance with Ash Tyler. I mean,
they played a different song as well. There's a different song playing when they were slow dancing compared to every other time loop when they made the call to go to the bridge.
Bo Burnham picked that song on the jukebox herself because she wanted to slow dance.
Yep.
And I called that in my notes. I called it, this is the blackest timeline because the Black Dynamite make-out music.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, no, that's
so great.
That time jump that probably lasted more than 30 minutes, and the Klingons are about to arrive, and then he suddenly decided, well, I guess I'll just restart it.
Yeah.
And then it just evaporating at the end of 30 minutes, just, I don't know, I feel like that's just really lazy writing, or they didn't explain it properly. Or,
Yeah. It's imprecise. I mean,
it feels a bit like a Deus Ex Machina that just,
Yeah. No, it's sort of why I don't like time-oriented episodes too much. I like the time loops; they're kind of fun, but it sure is hard to make them work, I think.
The fifth point that I didn't like...
Oh. Okay, yeah.
Is that on the last time loop...
Yeah.
Because Stamets has been having so much trouble convincing, first, Bo Burnham.
Well, he's had a tough week.
Yeah, it's been a long day. Convincing Bo Burnham to convince Ash Tyler. Sorry, Michael Burnham. I didn't even realise I was saying Bo Burnham.
Yeah.
He has to convince Michael Burnham to convince Ash Tyler to convince the captain or something, whatever, that all this is happening. Yet on the final time loop, they have time to convince everyone, including all of the bridge crew, that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Reprogram everything on all the screens on the ship to make Mudd think that he's in control of the ship.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem to fit into that.
Yeah.
Half the episode was about him trying to convince everyone, and then he can just, make them believe in an instant later on, and I don't know, it's just stupid.
Yeah, I think Stamets would have to have gotten everybody's safe word. that time loop thing where you have to...
Yeah, just running around just yelling at people, just yelling safe words at people.
So he would have to have run on the bridge, run over to Saru and said, "Your mother never loved you," and then over to just
Aww.
And I mean, and Bo Burnham's one is really piss weak. I've never been in love. I thought it was going to be she was a virgin.
Well, maybe it is. Maybe they're one and the same.
She's never been loved. No, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I enjoy time loop episodes. A good suspension of... Is it suspension of disbelief or suspension of belief?
Suspension of disbelief.
Because
you're suspending your disbelief to enjoy the show.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But anyway, whatever it is, I mean, if you're the kind of person that can engage that willingly, then they're good. I kind of struggle a bit, but,
I mean, I appreciate the way they went with it, because obviously Michael Burnham's the main character, and Stamets is not. So having Stamets be the one that was remembering everything, and like, I appreciate that they tried to do that. I don't think it worked.
Yeah.
And I also appreciate that they weren't showing every single thing that happened. But then again, that didn't work because they gave themselves a 30-minute time limit. So then it just doesn't work, yeah.
I'm kind of glad it wasn't Michael Burnham having the flashbacks and the... Like, I'm sort of glad she wasn't the one remembering that it was a time loop because...
Well, an issue you have with, like, time loop stories is that either you explain it... Like, either you just don't explain it, which, you know, like Groundhog Day or something.
Yeah.
Or you have to actually make an explanation. And I think...
there is an explanation.
Yeah.
Groundhog Day. Yeah. Sorry, what?
The Stamets... Yeah, okay, you're talking over me again. Stamets being the one that goes through the time loops is perfectly fine because of what's already happened. Like, you don't really need to explain it more than that. It's just like, oh, that makes sense, yeah.
I like it because he's sort of smilingly telling Mudd, well, but you forgot me because I don't exist in a normal timeline. And he's like, all right, Anthony Rapp, okay.
Yeah, he's just happy that he finally took down the Kingpin. Kevin Spacey.
You can really tell. Can we please talk about this?
Yeah, we can. Well,
we don't need to talk too much about Kevin Spacey, but I just have two really relevant notes in this episode.
Yeah, okay, go on.
The first one is when Bo Burnham runs into Stamets and knocks all of the homework out of his hands in the corridor, and he's just smiling. He says, "Why would you apologize for an act of physical interaction?" I fucking scream laughed at that one. And then he's very seriously saying to Bo Burnham later on, "Tell me a secret, something you've never admitted to anyone. I promise it'll be safe with me." And I wanted to cry. I'm like, oh, Anthony Rapp, no.
I do really like it. I think he's a very good part of the show.
No, he's a great actor. My emotions have really been on a roller coaster in this episode. All thanks to this fucking horrible scandal. Fuck you, Kevin. I mean, Kevin Spacey. We knew, right? It
was very well documented that he liked, well, that he was probably gay, and that he was into the younger men.
Yeah, but the fact that he was pushy about it, like, you know, not in a cool way. Like, I mean,
well, to be honest, I just didn't really think about it that much. But
I never wanted to think about being on a yacht with Kevin Spacey and what might happen. No, but yeah, I can't believe anybody's surprised. Nobody is surprised, are they? They're
not too surprised. It's more like, oh, well, all right then. I guess that's how it's going to be.
But I just want to tell you this. Baby Driver is still an amazing movie, and in no way am I ever going to not love that movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a good actor. I mean,
but he was a good actor.
He probably still is a good. I mean, to be honest, just to talk about it seriously for a second, the fact that he announced that he was gay to try and deflect from this was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Was that not full Frank Underwood or what?
Yeah, you can imagine, you read it in Frank Underwood's voice, and then right at the end, he turns to the camera and says, "These people are so gullible."
This was a deeply, deeply drunken and mistaken moment that happened 30 years. I don't even remember. Can you believe these people are fucking epic traps?
Did they say they were cancelling House of Cards, or they were going to have one final season of House of Cards?
They are in production of season 6. They're still filming it, and I guess that's going to be the last one to come out the door. I'm in the same boat.
Is he going to die halfway through the season or something?
Hey, what happened? Oh, the garbage truck. No, I'm with everybody else. I want it to be all about Robin Wright now, but I guess it's too late for them to rewrite the show.
Robin Wright. Well, yeah, they could have her kill. Is she still the vice president? I don't know. I haven't watched. I only watched the start of season 2, so that's.
I tried watching season 5. I didn't make it past one episode because it was just so incomprehensible and boring compared to how the show used to be.
Apparently, season 5 was really bad. Yeah.
I read a spoiler that says she takes over at the end of season 5.
She takes over at the end of season 5?
And she becomes the Queen of Leather. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I'm fucking dying. I get hysterical when we have to talk about something sort of sad.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be a sad, but it just makes me so mad, this kind of thing. But anyway, I mean, it's good that all these scandals are coming out.
Oh, it's very good. I'm glad that it's happening. in a way, you know.
Let the bodies hit the floor, as far as I'm concerned. Because I would like to be able to enjoy a movie like, say, Baby Driver, and then not have to be like, ugh, he's like that in real life.
I want to know that everyone in the film that I like is not, perving on underage boys.
Well, did he hit on Ansel Elgort now? I'm worried about Ansel.
I'm worried about Ansel.
He's probably only 15, and he made a movie.
He's
with
not
Kevin
15.
Spacey.
What?
Oh, how old is he?
Ansel Elgort. I think I'd spelled his name wrong.
Oh,
1994.
He can't even spell it.
Okay, so he's 23.
All right, whatever. But my point being, I mean, Kevin Spacey. Oof.
Yeah. Don't fall for his tricks.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, it's an awful story, and we're very sad for Anthony Rapp.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been sad anyway, but as I was saying to my lady friend yesterday when we were going out for burgers, I said it's just weird for me because I've just started watching this Anthony Rapp guy, and I didn't really know who he was, and I'm just trying to get into his show, and just when I'm finding out about him, I find out that this happened. I don't know. It would have been sad news anyway, but it's sad.
Yeah, definitely. So
anyway,
this episode of Star Trek.
Yeah, now that we've got that elephant in the room out of the way.
I don't want to repeat this every week, but I am enjoying the show more and more as it comes out, and yeah, I'm looking forward to next week every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Well, my first note for this episode was branded pillowcases. I mean, the merchandising monster really is... The merchandising Gormagander really is raising its head.
Wait, where were the pillowcases? What are you talking...
Well, Michael Burnham wakes up and she's got a pillowcase with USS Discovery on it. It's like, that's going to be...
Doesn't just say Disco across the top?
Cafe Press. What's the site that people put their own prints on things?
Yeah, Cafe Press, that was one.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the thing, is it?
And I've got a major issue, well, two of them actually, with the intro montage. She says the tide is turning, but the tide of the war is turning in our favour. But the map really looked very Klingon-centric to me. So I'm watching the border, and it's like, what's this territory here? How come you haven't reclaimed that yet with the spore drive?
But Scotty,
and also
these are all new. These are very low population worlds. They haven't even built the missile bases on them, so you could just take them, instantly with your what are the the silicoids?
Yeah.
You could jump right in.
Oh god, I love Masters of Orion, and that's the thing. The campaign map of that game can look very intimidating, but then when you realise every planet's only got 1 million guys on it. And they haven't built the bases yet. Not even the factories to build the bases. You could just steam in there with a couple of transports and take everything.
Exactly. The monologues at the start and the end of the episode, I thought they were kind of like... I thought the end one was stupid at least because it basically boiled down to sometimes, what you need is sitting right in front of you. I thought that was really dumb.
Weak as piss. Because I learned something today. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah. It's like Data's Day, except we don't care.
And also, I mean, we're setting ourselves up for Michael Burnham to be heartbroken here, because she's like, well, actually what I needed was right here all along. And then Tukuma in disguise is like looking at the camera. It's like,
I don't know if they're still doing that or if they just set it up as like a like a red herring.
Red herring, yeah.
Because I'm going to be mad if he does end up being Vok.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to like the character. I like the character. Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's all right, but when he gets a little bit... I mean, he makes that toast during the party. Of fallen brothers and sisters in arms. And he's like,
see, I just think he's like the kind of character that you don't like.
Carth Onassi, basically. I mean, they should just put a visor on.
The tree's kilometers high. He's too cool for you. He's too cool. You don't like cool guys.
And this was something that happened... This happened in a previous episode, but I don't know if I brought it up. This is the second time I've seen Lorca doing hand gesture, 3D hologram.
Oh, yeah, I really did.
those are way too bright for a man with a vision problem. Like, they're not helping.
That, well, yeah, sometimes he just doesn't have that vision problem. But also, I feel like that tactile kind of, moving something around in 3D space, the way he's doing, like, it doesn't look precise enough.
Yeah, the animators are having to work overtime to make it look like something, I think.
I can't imagine using that technology in the future. It's like when they have those holographic things for the actual controls. And it's like, you can't do that. It's like trying to play like an FPS on a phone screen or something.
To be honest, I can imagine it working because I've had enough time with the Oculus Rift now where it's like I can understand and dig the idea of a 3D map. But again, it would need to be in a dark room, it would need to be bright, and a man with cataracts or whatever the fuck's wrong with him shouldn't be doing that to himself.
It also kind of reminds me of like typing on the iPad or something, and I've never really gotten used to that. Like, I know some people can type really fast. I don't know. I need the...
Yeah. No, to be honest, because like I would tell you that I'm not used to typing on an iPad, but then when I was typing here in front of the person I'm staying with...
No, you type very fast on the iPad.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So I guess it's all relative.
It's all relative.
I've got a note here that says, Stamets drumming on the console. I guess he's taking things well. That was pretty funny. He's like, bum 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 bum.
Yeah, it's the opening montage of like how everyone's getting along.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Last week I was annoyed with him saying groovy and stuff like that, but I kind of liked him more as the madman that nobody would listen to in this episode. I thought that was good acting.
Yeah, like he's getting goofier and goofier, but when he actually has a purpose in the episode, it's alright. Like he's just slightly happier than he was. I think he like overly did he kind of acted up the angry, bitter person beforehand, because obviously that's not what the character's going to end up being. So he had to like make that a lot worse than like a normal human would be. I suppose.
It was a good bit I liked, actually. It was sort of a glimpse into the Roddenberry version of Star Trek.
Yeah.
The old ideal of Star Trek that Roddenberry had, because it was during that part where Tyler's making the toast, right? And he says...
sorry. I just didn't... I didn't remember that scene.
No, not toast.
Where it pops out and he's like, hey, Burnham, here's your toast.
No. He's toasting his fellow crew members in the bar.
Yeah.
And he's like, those have made sacrifices. And then the camera centers on a guy in a wheelchair or some cripple. And they're like, yay! The cripple. And it reminds me of Gene Roddenberry because it's that old thing where it's like, hey, Gene, why is he in a wheelchair? Wouldn't they just fix his legs in the future? And then Gene would look off into the distance and say, in the 23rd century, it won't matter if he has broken leg. It was very touching.
Okay. I feel like it does matter if he has broken legs.
No, it's just that nice touch. That they're still bringing back that 60s optimism to the show. I really love it.
Yeah, I like how in the future they don't care about aesthetics like being able to walk and things like that. Those superficial things. Yeah, I mean, if you consider the console, then I guess it's fine.
Yeah, and the holograms and stuff. I mean, he can work a hologram with
I bet he could.
I do have another note because obviously the comparisons is this is like cause and effect.
Cause and effect, yes. The episode where Data
and Groundhog
figures it out.
Groundhog Day, and it reminds me of Groundhog Day because in this one, Stamets is the guy who knows that there's a curse or whatever. They're in a time.
There's a curse, yes.
Yeah. I see. In Groundhog Day, it was apparently a curse, but they deleted that from the final movie.
Yeah, his ex-girlfriend was going to curse him for 10,000 years or some shit.
Yeah. It ties into my theory about Groundhog Day. And I've told people about this before, but I haven't done it on this podcast, so here we go.
Okay.
I have this idea that the only other person in Punxsutawney who knows about Bill Murray's curse is the bartender. Because every time they're at the bartender's washing the glass and he's looking over at Bill Murray trying all these moves on people and just going like he's seen it all before. I think he knows. I think the black man is actually key to the Groundhog Day loop.
I thought you were going to say it was the groundhog.
No, that's ridiculous.
Now that's ridiculous.
Imagine if the groundhog knew.
Yeah, what if at the end of the film, when he gets to the second day, and he sees the groundhog, and the groundhog winks at him like,
"It was me all along, you fuck."
Exactly.
Can we just... And again, the Gormagander. I mean...
The Gormagander. I really think that probably not the best course of action is to teleport the space creature that is used to having no air around it. Is living in a vacuum.
Yeah.
I don't think teleporting that into your shuttle bay, which is completely pressurized, is such a good idea.
Yeah, there's like some species of deep sea fish. You bring them up and they're fucked because they're used to the pressure of the ocean. And when they're up here, it's like us going to space. Yeah. I kind of like it though. I like the old version of Star Trek where they had big creatures just floating around in space, and and I like that it's endangered and all that. I sort of like it. Well, but when they beamed it up, I was like, "What the fuck is this Mutual of Omaha? What are they doing?"
They are focusing a lot on like organic space stuff so far, but I mean,
well, I like that. Again, that's an aspect of Star Trek that does work for me, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Did you know, Scotty? Speaking of cause and effect, they actually wanted to get Kirstie Alley as the captain at the end of the episode.
I think I heard
to
that
reprise her role as her, as Kirstie Alley. Savick, what's her name?
Was she too? Savick. Was she too big for the chair, or why didn't they do it?
It was either that, or she was too busy eating snickerdoodles or something.
I work for Weight Watchers now. This is very important.
I just think it's funny that they tried to get her, and then they got Kelsey Grammer.
I think Kelsey Grammer should have played Savick.
It's like a Frasier connection. Cheers.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway,
they could have gotten anyone from Frasier to be that captain. I think that would have been great.
Marty Crane.
Wait, was Frasier on at that time? When did Frasier start?
I think. When was Cause and Effect? These are all the important questions. Frasier started in 1993.
It might have been 1992. Hang on, let me.
Ah, shit. And when did Groundhog Day come out?
1993.
Oh, shit! It was all happening.
Yeah, I know.
It was all coming together.
This is 23rd of March, 1992. So that would have been Cheers. It would have been during Cheers, like the last season of Cheers.
Ah. Oh, okay.
Maybe that's why. Maybe they went to the Cheers set, and it was the same like Paramount set or whatever. So they went to the Cheers set. It's like, where's Kirstie Alley? I don't know.
Kirstie Alley, we need you for a job on Star Trek. And Kelsey Grammer's ears prick up, and he's like,
I'll do.
Oh, I can do Star Trek. I like science fiction. Yeah.
Apparently, he's a fan of Star Trek. So.
Oh, there you go.
But actually, I don't believe anything he says, because isn't he an asshole as well? I mean, I'm not going to equate him to Kevin
Kelsey
Spacey,
Grammer,
abusing young boys, but
Kelsey Grammer's not an asshole. He's just a conservative. There's a difference. He's had a tough life.
Seems close enough.
His sister was raped and murdered. His dad was murdered. His some brother of his died on a scuba diving accident. I don't know.
I know. You can't let that stuff get you down.
Oh shit. And then he was on Boss, and that got cancelled, but House of Cards kept going, and they're virtually the same show. I mean, that must have gone to him.
I suppose, yeah, I'd be mad too. I'd be mad. It might make you mad.
You Gormagander, it will tell me the truth, but it might send you insane.
I still gotta rewatch that. Alright, so that's it for the episode. I mean, that's it for the Star Trek episode, at least. We actually have emails, Scotty.
We have an email?
We have an email to read. Yeah, sorry, keep talking. Yeah.
There was a lot of good discoveries in this episode. We found out that Double Wide is a bit of a party girl. I mean, she's got game. You see her at that party? She was ready.
Yeah. Really interrupted my email thing to say that.
And I also want to say, if they're ripping off any any Voyager episode, it's the one where Seven is learning how to cook and boil eggs with Chakotay, because at the end, or towards the end, with the dancing thing, subplot,
yeah,
that's like the only Voyager-ish kind of thing I saw in this episode. I don't know why the fuck your friend would think it was...
It's not my friend!
Well, good, you deserve better friends.
Yeah, I think he explained it afterwards. He put another comment because I was like, "This is nothing like that," and then he said, it's pretty much the same except instead of a space time crystal, he's got chronoton torpedoes." It's like that's nothing. It's nothing like it.
The only similarity it has is that there's a man running the time loop, but the actual time loop itself...
It's not even a time loop. That's the thing. It's not even a time loop in the fucking...
Yeah. Anyway, David, emails. Sorry.
We have emails. We got a stinger for the emails. Here we go.
Check your email, buddy.
Okay, so we got an email. We got an email from Ilsaki, who is a Barry 12 subscriber. Thank you very much for sending us an email, buddy.
Well, we got one.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
So we have one.
Well, I'm just saying we're going to read one. I mean, we could have more. Who knows? Anyway, right. The email says...
So what did he say?
Hi, David and Scotty. So a Star Trek question, ... Do you think Discovery missed a trick by not being more TNG style? Brighter, more optimistic, etc.? Or is there simply no place for sci-fi shows like that in today's world, especially since how the Orville's viewing figures have been dropping like a stone? Keep up the work on the great podcast. I haven't actually kept up with the Orville's viewing numbers, but I stopped watching. So.
That's like the best piece of news I've gotten in all months.
Well, I mean,
it's made me so
obviously
happy.
the numbers are going to drop from the pilot, but...
Well, that happened with us, too. I mean,
and they also moved it from Sundays to Thursdays or something?
Yeah.
Which, I mean...
Put it I'm not going to say there's... I don't know. I'm not going to say there's no place for an optimistic TNG-style Star Trek, because I don't think that's what the Orville is. I think they're selling it as that. And the people that are gobbling it up are saying that's what it is, but it really isn't.
Yeah, no, I think they definitely could do, like, a proper Star Trek that is slightly brighter, more optimistic, and more comedy-focused. Like, you know, just happier. They could definitely do that today. It's just they're not doing that. So
he's full of shit because he says it's this optimistic sort of future, aspirational. I think he called it, and it's not my aspiration because it's just like a ship full of people that I wouldn't want to be stuck with. I hate all of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to keep bagging on the Orville mostly because we've already done it. But yeah, I mean, I think they could make Star Trek that's just slightly brighter, because I mean, I feel like this Star Trek is getting more. It is getting brighter. You know, it's getting more optimistic and brighter. It's just we happen to be in a war, and you know, there'll still be war episodes and stuff, but every now and then there's a relatively nice episode. And this is a pretty goofy episode, all things considered.
A little goof troop, I'd say.
I mean, the bad guy was a big goofball, and they had that stupid montage where he's killing Lorca.
No. I love that montage.
You love that montage?
When he beams Lorca out into space. Oh, my legs are kicking up in space.
What I don't like is everyone's just watching him do it.
That I didn't understand. I think that's kind of... he's remembering all the times he killed Lorca while he's on the bridge.
Okay. No, there was another time when Saru's like, This is ridiculous. What are you doing? I can't believe you've done this. You know, something like that.
I mean, I really enjoyed that. Watching Lorca get killed over and over again.
I was going to say something else. Oh yeah, why are they listening? I mean, why are they playing this song from like the 1990s in their disco party? Or, have they not made more music? Is there no more music?
It's
At some point, did they stop making music?
It's the same bullshit they do in Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams movies, where it's all 20th century music just because J.J. Abrams is a fucking child that won't grow up.
I mean,
and he just
in their defense, like everyone on the Enterprise D just listened to opera and like classical music, so I'm not that upset.
Yeah.
But still, you know, why can't you just make, like, future, you know, just make a fake future song that everyone dances to?
Yeah, that's the thing about Star Wars, is Star Wars was stuck. They had to make their own music because it was a different galaxy.
Yeah, and they got the best man to do it, didn't they?
Exactly.
Lynn Bandel Goranta.
Lamandel. Ujaba. No. No, I don't know. Yeah, the music did shit me a bit, but I didn't like the whole party scene, to be honest. It's like I'm watching Entourage or something. Do they do parties in Entourage, or is that?
I don't know. I've never watched Entourage. I think that whole show is a party, right?
I think so. Well, that's my point. It's like I was all of a sudden watching the wrong show. They're all dressed up for sex, and even the one with the shaved side of her head and the implants is looking like she's going to go.
She was getting in there, yeah.
And it's just a little incongruous. I'm like, is this Star Trek or not?
I wish they would explain that robot lady on the bridge.
Well, she was wounded in the explosions that destroyed the Shenzhou.
Did she? Everyone from the Shenzhou end up on the ship?
No, it's just Saru and Shenzhou. No, I mean Saru and the chick with the implants.
And Michael Burnham.
And Bo Burnham, yeah. Who, by the way, they all seem to be fine with now. It only took a couple of episodes, but...
Well, that was the montage at the start of the episode, was everyone getting happy with her. And...
Oh, okay.
I did think that was a little... I mean, yeah. I did think that was a little bit weird that at the start of the last episode, all of a sudden she was, like, super good friends with Tilly. And they were, like, just doing everything together. Like, I don't care, because obviously it has to get there eventually.
Yeah.
And, you know, at least it's a little bit slower than Voyager, where episode 2, they're all wearing Starfleet uniforms, and the Maquis, you know, they don't care anymore.
Yeah, they're all brushing their teeth together. No, I'm watching it with Spanish subtitles still, and she's doing her captain's log at the start, and she's like, I've made friends, and it's like, "Uy, ¿cómo está, amigos?"
Amigos. I have made amigos.
Yeah. Look, a fine episode, I think. Definitely better than this week's Orville.
You didn't even see it.
I never will.
Okay. To answer your question, Ilsaki, yeah, they could.
Yeah.
But they just haven't.
Honestly, there is a place for it, and you know why there is a place for it? Because it hasn't been tried yet. No matter what the people over at, what's his network called? Orville?
Comedy Central? I don't know.
Yeah. Over on Comedy Central, they haven't even tried it. They've just slapdash some space shit together, and I hope it sinks.
I hope it sinks. Fucking. Alright. We gotta stop talking about the Orville, because I feel like we're just treading the same water over and over again.
Well, we haven't talked about enough Star Wars in this episode, but I guess there's just no reason to.
Did you see the international poster for The Last Jedi, where Luke is on the side of the poster holding his blue lightsaber, or Anakin's blue lightsaber, and then it has Rey up in the top, looking kind of a little bit evil.
Holding in the blue lightsaber.
No, she's not holding the blue lightsaber. Luke is.
Wait, I haven't seen a thing of Luke holding... Didn't he keep his green one? I mean, I know he throws the green one away.
Okay, I'm just saying, on this international poster, I think it's the Chinese poster, instead of Rey being on the side, Luke's on the side.
Yeah.
And Rey's up top.
I'm looking at this now. If Luke doesn't use his lightsaber in this movie, I'm going to be so pissed. And also...
His green one?
Okay, he throws the green one away when he turns down the Emperor, but you see it dangling from his belt when he's in the Ewok village, so he must have got it back again.
Yeah, well, he got into the they got into the Y-wing shuttle thing. What's it called? Space hopper?
It's an Imperial shuttle.
Why is it why is it the same design as that ship that Luke has that we never see?
It's not the same design. The T-16 Skyhopper is a much smaller craft.
Yeah, but it's the same kind of thing, isn't it? I guess it's like planes versus planes,
It's the same deal. It was probably, you know, they were just drawing ships back then, and George Lucas was like, this one looks alright. And that was probably the same idea. Just
what I was saying was he just flew around and went down to the bottom of the Death Star, where the lightsaber was just sitting at the bottom. He just grabbed it.
Oh no, it didn't go down there. It made like a clunk noise. It landed in the corner.
Oh, did he? I don't know. Again, I haven't watched that much Return of the Jedi. So.
Because it comes back to that thing of watching the movies on tape. Because for years I never heard that clunk noise, and then when I watched it on like a stereo DVD, it was like, and I'm like, oh, that was meant to be there.
True.
Anyway,
so
I just saw the poster, by the way. I looked it up. Looks very nice.
Yeah, it's they're focusing. I think they're focusing a lot more on Ray because the Chinese people don't have the nostalgia for the old films like we do.
Yeah. Chinese market.
Chinese market. Got to get that Donnie Yen in there, or whatever his name was. Is that him? Donnie Yen?
Exactly. Donnie Yen is the guy from...
Rogue
you know,
One.
I'm glad it wasn't Jet Li. Oof.
Yeah, don't get like really well known.
I
Who was
hate
the other
Jet
one?
Li so much.
Who was the other guy?
Oh,
Baze
Jackie
Malbus. No, Baze Malbus.
Oh. Nobody. He wasn't that important.
Yeah, but he was still an actor and he was still Chinese, right?
Oh, fucking. Like, it's Donnie Yen's uncle.
Okay. I do hope they don't... I mean, they are starting to do that, but I hope they kind of slow down on the putting Chinese people into films so that the Chinese people want to see the films.
Their hands are tied. I think they're going to have to start making alternate cuts of movies where...
Just make your own movies. Look, they're a world power. Just...
They do make their own movies.
They're an up-and-coming. Just make your own Star Wars.
Yeah. But what I think is, like, they could have, like, because CG is so good now, they can just put different actors in the roles for different regions. So to screen the movie in China, all of a sudden, instead of Adam Driver, you've got, like, I don't know, some famous Chinese rock star.
Famous Chinese rock star. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, they have like these random Chinese dudes that are just hugely famous over there, but then when they come to Western countries, they're like, who the fuck is this?
Of course, because it's a different world, Scotty.
Exactly. Different people.
Communism.
They're generous people, though.
Are they?
But yeah, just drop them in. It's like when we used to make movies on the game, the movies. You could drag and drop actors into each scene, and it was perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the emails done.
Check your email, buddy.
So now we're gonna end. Thanks.
Yes, thanks very much, Dax, for writing that email.
Yes, thank you for writing an email. Everyone else, start writing emails, buddy.
Yeah, start writing new ones. And
I didn't mean to say buddy at the end, but
check your email, buddy.
Check your email, buddy.
All right. Well, this is the last one I'm doing from here. I should be back in old Poith next week.
So that means, I'll probably come to your house on Monday afternoon and just bang one out.
Yeah, quicker turnover. Hopefully, bring the stingers.
Bring the stingers. All right, cool. All right, thank you all for listening. If you have, send us emails, give us a thumbs up on YouTube or whatever, and subscribe if you want to see more.
And we've got to do more of this podcast. I'm really enjoying podcasting again.
It is good, and I feel like having a show to do it every week, like it's forcing us to do it. Kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how easy it will be once we get to the other shows, but
well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
We'll burn that bridge when we come to it. Okay, thanks guys. Catch you later, my Gormaganders. What a dumb word. Gormagander.
Demogorgon.
Have you sorry. Everyone will think that the podcast is about to end, but have you watched Stranger Things yet?
I haven't watched it yet. I'll wait till I get home.
Okay, I won't say anything.
Okay, I'm going to binge watch it.
It's pretty good. I'll just say that. It's pretty good.
Sean Astin.
Sean Astin is amazing. Okay. Anyway, see you guys.
Alright, see you. Bye.